Sup Shredders, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands and welcome to SP Patrons where today I'm going to be making a custom monthly music review for Yum Ren. Sup Yum Ren, how you doing? Today we're going to be reviewing a track titled Giraffe Blues, Kaname Solo Requiem by Yasuno Kiyono, and thank you very much Yum Ren for this very first suggestion. I thoroughly appreciate it. Congratulations on becoming an SP Patron. If we switch over to here, we've got the track on YouTube. We're going to listen through it from start till finish, and then we're going to go through the lyrics that you graciously sent through, Yum Ren. I appreciate it. It's good for I appreciate knowing what the song is about. So without further ado, we're going to listen from start till finish, and we're going to hear what we think. Let's go. Oh, this is a very pretty piano line we have here. Kind of sounds like snow, doesn't it? Great theme instantiated instantly. A little bit of modulation there, a little bit of semitonal modulation. Oh, it resolves nicely with some extended harmonies. A little bit of fairy there. Great, we heard the vocals come in, nice and quiet. There is a show of dynamic range within this recording that I thoroughly appreciate. The strings are a nice addition in there as well. Oh, and that was a nice transition there in regards to the chord progression. I wasn't expecting to start on that note there in this new part. I'm assuming this is a bridge or something like that. I also like how we're having the little hints of the strings. Not too much yet, not wanting to overcommit. Slowly developing the track, great, you know, adding new layers as we need to in order to keep it sounding fresh. I also appreciate what's going on in regards to the you know, the fact that we're keeping the words and the piano parts in sync with each other. It helps to keep a sense of unison with it, and it makes the sound a little bit neater. Oh, fantastic. Call and response there with the piano part, the vocals and the strings in that part. You know, the call and response is great here, especially when we're wanting to maybe commit to having those strings a little bit more often. Bit of a vocal lift there, that's cool. Oh, I wasn't expecting that. Lovely backing vocals there. Very bright. It's a very kind of, it's like a very caring tonality to it. It sounds like someone's crying out to you, kind of trying to get you to come a little bit closer, you know? Cool, fantastic. Shout out to the vocal technique that the singer has. She's a phenomenal singer, man. I love how clearly her voice is coming through in the mix. The syllables, the words, the pronunciation is fantastic. I also thoroughly appreciate what we've got going on in regards to how comfortable the singer is within her vocal range. You know, she's sitting there nice and colorfully there. Lots of legato and ornamentation there in regards to a bit of the vibrato going on as well. And finally, I appreciate how we're split in each half of the chorus into like a double-tracked vocal section where you have the vocals a little bit wider, like different recordings of the same line there to make a more chorus-like effect. Chorus the effect rather than chorus the section. Just coming back, you know, to those original vocals there, where we just have the single soloist there telling a story. And back to the instrumental refrain. Great work. And that little bit of change there with that, you know, that string part of the end was fun. Little bits of change there just to keep it interesting for listeners. Ah, plucks. String plucks in this section. Good move. You have the dun 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 on the piano, and then you have blah 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 on the strings on either side of the stereo field, and I like the to and fro ping pong effect we've got going on here. It's a development of something we didn't have in the original verse. I think it fits really well here. Great extra bar here. It was a little bit interesting there. Interesting? I usually say a little bit interesting when I'm not necessarily sure about something. I wasn't sure about the string transition there, having that right before the chorus. I think that it was a tricky sort of movement that the composer and the performers wanted to make, and I think they managed to pull it off, but it was very dicey, dude. Very kind of, if they'd hesitated, it would have been a complete mess. I love how the strings are so constant and playing these whole note parts while the piano dances around with the melody line on top. What I appreciate is that we're trying to even out the amount of energy that we have in regards to Yasuno Kiyono's vocals with the piano sections. I think that because she's quite high and she's in the mid to highs, right? The high mids. You really cannot afford to have her not be stacked on top of the other elements of the mix, and you also can't have her going at the same time as those higher piano notes or string sections, especially not in the center of the stereo field. So that's why I think they've panned things a little bit wider in the mix at this point, just to make space for her. And then, of course, once she's finished singing and we go back in this instrumental sort of break here, we have the dun 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 and things ascend. But little tricks being thrown here to thoroughly appreciate. A little bit of drama here resolving back to that warm major tonality here. The strings are really well recorded. They have a great sort of they almost make me feel nostalgic for a time, like an old-timey kind of thing, you know? Oh, and back to this. Love that unison note there. And those backing vocals are harmonizing on top of it in a higher position there to make it sound bolder and brighter than what we had before. Oh, and the strings having their time to shine there whilst the vocals doing a scale run. A little bit of onomatopoeia going on, a little bit of nice pronunciation there, that's great. Charming. I like that little bit of English there at the end just to kind of give the listener who may not be familiar with language more of an understanding of what the track is about. I think that's a really charming decision to make there. I have a lot of love and respect for what they've managed to do with this track. Full disclosure, I have already tried to review the song once. This is the second take of it. Something occurred with the recording. It mucked up, so I had to do it again today. But I'm glad I did, because I noticed all these little fun elements here, and I have an appreciation for the different little intricacies of this piece. So getting more of a chance to really absorb and soak it in is something I really appreciate. So thank you for the suggestion, Yum Ren, for your introductory custom monthly music review as an SP patron. Hopefully you've enjoyed the review so far. We of course have the conclusion. What do I think? Oh no, hang on. We've got lyrics. I nearly forgot to do lyrics. I'm just gonna have a quick look through these just so that I can get the rough approximation of what the track is about. But from what I can see so far, it's about the lady calling out to another person, saying they're unable to catch up to them, wondering what the other person was watching, where were they headed, and talking about the things they'd lost, not paying attention to what they'd gained, having a negative bias towards it. And like the perspective of this other person that they're sort of speaking out to is warped and potentially biased, and we're sort of saying, yo, you can't, your dreams aren't made by you alone. It's not all about your viewpoint. You can't just have tunnel vision about it. I'm here for you if you want assistance. Never let go of this hand holding you firmly. We can. I don't want you to leave me behind. I understand what you're going through and the struggle that you are going through. As per the I know your blues down the bottom. Even if you claim them as your own, that unfading void is only being covered up with a smile. That's an interesting line. It's saying, I see what you're doing. I see your back as you go forward. And when you smile at me, I know there's more to it than that. The truths when in your heart can't be communicated with words alone. It's too deep. There's too much going on to be hidden again by a smile. Where are you now, my beloved, in this world that's lost all color, all meaning? I believe we can fly high and far, but amid that unseen sky, our wings are shredded to pieces. So for them as birds, the sky is a difficult place. They've tried to fly up into it, but it's too vicious. And there's that reminder that they don't have to do it alone, that dreams can be unpredictable and that you kind of can complete control of them, but that the person singing the song, they know their blues and they know what they're going through, and they just want to be a part of it. They want to catch up. I think this is a sensational song. I love the story that's being told here. The vocal performance is so authentic to that message and to the story that's being told here. I think that the singer Yasuno Kiyono is very clear with how she feels when she sings it, and that comes across as a very authentic performance because of that. She's in that zone where she is that character singing that song, and that's why I think it sounds so good, is that I don't think you could fake something like this and have it be nearly as successful. You really have to be invested into the story and the situation and the music that supports you. And I think that Yasuno Kiyono is a fantastic vocalist, shows exemplary technique, and I've got no real complaints about the way she approached this at all. I think it's a fantastic vocal performance. Additional to that, I think that the structure of the song with the verse, bridge chorus, and then, the interlude parts and the musical, there was enough in this 5 and a bit minutes to keep me engaged and entertained. I feel like this is a unique experience as well. I haven't really heard a lot of songs about someone watching someone go forward like this and want to be a part of that. Usually it's like usually with the songs I listen to, people have already given up because they've run away. They are desperate to keep up, but there's more of a kinship that's trying to be forged, They want that connection, but they understand that there's more than meets the eye with it. And the instrumentation, the string piano parts along with the vocals, they harmonize so well together. I love that we slowly increase the intensity and energy of the performance. We introduced the piano line at the start to give a good understanding of what we were going to have for the 5 minutes. But those string parts came in and fluctuated and became more sort of noticeable as we went on and so forth. And I think especially when we got the backing vocals later on, it all clicked and everything sounded fantastic together. I've got no complaints about it whatsoever. Some interesting complex parts of the harmony that were complex, there was these extended parts and these major shifts and these points of tension, especially at the start of the bridge. It's almost like the chorus, even though we had that sadness throughout, it was more abrupt with the bridge. But that's okay. I mean, I listened to this song and I think, yeah, this sounds like it's ready for release. The production value, the recording, mixing, and mastering is absolutely sensational. Like from the perspective of me, like listening to someone going, oh yeah, like what did the vocals, were the vocals recorded properly? Are they EQ'd correctly? Is the stereo panning done fantastically? Yep, you've got the instruments in the different parts of the stereo field. You can hear everything nice and cleanly. There's like lots of little bits to appreciate in the composition as well in regards to the little melodic runs on the string parts, but also on the piano parts occasionally. The composer knew how to balance it out and not have too much, but what was the right amount after you had the focal point being the vocals. The limiting compression on these on this recording is fantastic, and you didn't need more instruments in this. Like initially I was thinking, could they not have put like guitar, bass, drums, etc., and really made that outro huge? But I don't think that it would have necessarily benefited from that. And I think part of the power of this arrangement is just that coloration, that musicality of it with the piano, the strings, and the singing. That's the song of her heart and her soul. And I think that adding too much else in regards to the arrangement wouldn't have necessarily been beneficial to the experience. Thank you so much, Yum Ren, for this lovely request as your custom monthly SP Patron video. Hopefully you enjoyed this review. I certainly enjoyed this song, and I'm looking forward to hearing more of what you want me to review in future. But that is effectively my review of Giraffe Blues Kaname Solo Requiem. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please do go show Yasuno Kiyono and everyone else involved with Giraffe Blues and the Kaname Solo Requiem some love via their various social medias. And stay cool and stay safe, and please also remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as either help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on. And again, Yum Ren, congrats on becoming an SP patron. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you in the next video. Spiderhands out.